back to the same spot, getting killed over and over.
First of all, is it you had an officer?
Yes, I had officers. That's actually a common theme in MMOs.
Syn was a very professional and dedicated guildmaster.
No. It's not about that. He
used to roleplay in voice and be like, "Here, sire, we are going to defend my fair mistress, Shayana.
No, it's not about that.
I will defend her honor.
They are literally
my
called
wife
officers in MMOs.
Trihards. Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third episode of the somewhat weekly Trihards podcast.
Oh no, we're starting this trend already.
Welcome to my world, boys.
Yeah, well, things happen. We won't go into it, but, we're here now, and it will never happen again, right, boys?
Yep, we will ensure that it doesn't happen again.
Anyway, to start off, since I weirdly started off the last podcast introducing topics that we didn't even touch upon, like later on, I think it's fair enough that we indulge the audience into what I was trying to simmer into our world of discussion. I don't know why I'm talking like this today. Anyways,
it's fine. Keep it up. You're doing great, mate.
Yeah, look, sounds really good. Sounds professional.
Anyways, Burnsy, you went to London, right? And you met a bunch of Elder Scrolls content creators.
I did. I met content creators. I met Skyblivion developers, I guess. Then I was going to say peeps, but, we'll use more professional terms. And also people who were just mates with them as well. But it was a great time. No one wanted to Uber anywhere though, which did my head in, but everything else was great. So I just woke up every morning, got an Uber to breakfast, went from breakfast, got an Uber to the next place, and we just went from there, and everyone else wanted to walk and catch tubes because peasants. No, I'm joking.
And who did you meet? What kind of famous people did you stumble upon?
Because now I have to name everyone, and if I forget someone, it's gonna look really bad.
Wait, what was the reasoning behind the meetup? Just randomly, or there was like a gathering of some sort?
Yeah, I mean, the initial reason why certain people came down, I don't know if it's public, so I can't say, but essentially Camelworks and Rebel's Eyes, who is the project lead of Skyblivion for people that don't know, and Camelworks, a YouTuber who you should know, they both came down for a specific reason, which I'm not sure if it's public or not, so I'll just leave it there. And then, while they were here, they were like, we might as well book like a week off or something and then go to London afterwards and explore the vast world of English cuisine, which is not that great.
Not that great.
So
you guys got good chicken though, right? In London, I've heard London got good chicken. Like in general, they got a lot of chicken joints.
I don't think we went to one chicken joint, so can't confirm nor deny, I guess. I don't know. To be fair, we should have went to an Indian, because that is the national dish of England now. But we didn't, because we forgot. So, next time, I guess. But anyway, so, because obviously I'm a part of the Skyblivion team now, and I hang around with them a lot in the online office and do development and chat to them and everything, I've got to know them quite well. So a lot of the developers, a few of the developers decided they would go down to London and meet Rebel's Eyes, Kyle. And I was like, you know what? I'll go too. I just turned up without asking anyone. No, I'm joking. They asked me. They begged me, in fact.
Yeah, sure. I saw that the ESO was there as well.
Yeah, ESO was there on the last day. He wasn't in London for the week. It was... Okay, let me name everyone now, because now if I forget someone, they're going to be like, he hates me. I don't, okay? I've just got a bad memory. Okay, there was me, Rebel's Eyes, the Lootist, who is a Skyblivion dev, level design and stuff like that. Harrock, who is a Navmesh lead. Okay, I've named 3.
I guess ESO.
Maybe
Camelworks.
Camelworks. Yeah. See how bad my memory is? I'm forgetting even Camelworks, okay? Camelworks. There was Camelworks' friend. I guess we can call her friend. Who else? Oh, Doig, who is a implementation lead. He came down for
Important.
about a day or two. There was a guy called Ollie, who also works on the SgtGimlinho team, who came to about half a comedy show and then left halfway through. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, there was Dom, who was ESO's mate, and also a content creator.
I mean, you could just say that you had a good time, right, with all the people there, and I think
Yeah,
that
you don't
that's
have to
enough.
name
Yeah,
everybody
let's
individual.
cut out everyone that I just named and just say everyone was there and we had a great time.
Yeah. If I'm editing this, I'm not cutting anything out. I don't know who was editing
You are.
it, but I'm not cutting
Well, you can
anything.
cut out me waiting in between so no one has to sit here and listen to me think for 40 seconds at a pop.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
Interesting.
it was a great time. Very warm. Some would argue too warm. I would be one of those people. I burnt the backs of my hands somehow, and then the tip of my nose. They were the only things that burnt. So I had a little Rudolph nose for half of the trip, and the backs of my hands were red. so
Oh,
that was
sunburn.
great.
For some reason, I thought you
Yeah.
meant like you
I
burned
thought
it
you,
on a...
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
third
same.
degree fire burns.
I thought you were making like pancakes and you put your hand down and like...
Do you think that we will be like eventually like the three of us meeting up at some sort of like a Bethesda gathering or whatever?
I mean, we have to, right?
Yeah, well, like
So
when
we have
there's
to
like
do a Trihards IRL.
Yeah.
yeah, well, like one guy shows up.
Like maybe, because we started this at the start of summer, right? So that's when a lot of people have the free time. So maybe we could do like an anniversary thing or something.
No, legit, I
Well,
think
the
that would be
real
awesome.
question is, do we do it? I mean, let's be honest. None of us are going to... Either Syn and Gim have got to fly out to England, or me and Gim have got to fly out to Serbia, or me and Syn have got to fly out to Norway. So either
Yeah.
way, it's a bit of a pain in the arse.
Yeah.
So the only real thing is either two people compromise and just suck it up and fly somewhere, or...
Yeah.
There'll be some sort of Bethesda thing at some point that we're all not invited to, so we'll have to pay for our own tickets, and then we can all meet up.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to the most, like some sort of Bethesda gathering rather than anything, the three of us only. Although if we were to do that sort of a compromise, you would guys have to fly to Serbia, I would say, because things are so
Yeah, but-
cheap here compared to
you're
everything
gonna
over there.
have a-
Yes,
baby.
but there's so little to do there.
No, there isn't. You'd be quite surprised.
Compared to London or Norway.
Yeah. Like I'm very
I like how you
critical of
said
Serbia.
London and Norway as if like Oslo alone isn't enough to...
I don't know where you
tall
live in
with
Norway, okay? I don't remember
okay,
that.
kinda
I'm
true,
very
yeah.
critical of Serbia, but there's plenty of things to do in Belgrade. That's like one of the
Okay.
things that I think you guys be pleasantly surprised how many things that there are to do here. It's
Yeah,
actually
it's a
pretty
great
fun.
vacation spot, right?
Yeah. It's quite a popular tourist place, and genuinely, like, things are so incredibly cheap here. I mean, you guys know that we talked about, like, you know, ad revenues and different things, and the reason why I'm able to live comfortably here is because everything is so cheap here, right? And I don't earn more than your average Skyrim YouTuber, but it's just I'm able to live comfortably because things are really cheap here. Like, how much is I guess like a beer in England and Norway?
Oh, well, it depends where you get it. In London, it was like £6 a pint.
Like,
£6.
I don't- you
That is
mean-
ridiculous. Like, here
You
you
mean
can
like-
get it for 50 cents.
When you order or from a
yeah,
store?
but what beer though? Okay, this
Any
is what I
beer.
mean. When you hold on, when you say things are cheap, I'm like, yeah, that sounds
All
great.
right, let's-
it's also
let's have
kind
a-
of like a worry. Okay,
Let's have a specific example. So the comparison that I made would be Danish Tuborg.
what that is,
Tuborg.
bro.
Tuborg's beer, it's quite
Guinness.
popular. I don't think we have Guinness.
It's like what young people in
What about
Norway drink to go
Heineken?
to parties.
I don't drink beer. Okay,
I don't drink beer
Kopparberg.
either, but I know about Heineken.
What about an old malt cider?
For fuck's sake.
Okay, well, let's say an average beer at a normal
Average
convenience
beer
store.
is somewhere between 50 to 80 cents.
That's ridiculous. It's like
Yes.
£4 minimum here. if
When
you go
my
to, like, a London
when
pub.
my wife moved in here for the first time, for a full year and a half, she could never stop saying how things are cheap every time we would go to the supermarket. Oh my god, why is this so cheap? Why is this so cheap? You have to realize, like, here, average paycheck is about $300. Like, for Serbia.
that I'm pretty sure that's illegal in every other
It's
country.
not
in the
illegal,
world.
it's just a different economy. It's a third
No,
world
in
country.
the other countries, I mean,
Oh.
like if you got paid 300 quid here for a full-time job, you would be sued.
Yeah, but like if the beer is 50
An
cents
hour,
and
or-
bread is like 30 cents, then obviously it's normal. I would say. Oh, I
yeah,
mean,
but that does that not? Okay, it worries me a little bit. Okay, if you said like, hey, here's some fresh chicken I bought from the supermarket, it was 30p, I'd be like, I'm not eating that.
What, really?
No, it's not because of
30p
quality.
chicken.
I mean, if you want to spend dozens of dollars on food, you still can. It's just that stuff is really affordable here. That's the point.
I mean, I've been to a ton of Mediterranean countries, and I guess the furthest east I've been in Europe is Croatia. Like, everything's always cheap, and it's usually very good quality, especially like fruits and vegetables.
And Croatia is a little bit better standing than us as far as economy is concerned.
Well, let's compare something that we all have, and Gim is a big fan of: a can of Pringles. Okay, how much would that be in Serbia?
Oh, I don't know. Are there Pringles here? I don't think I've seen Pringles in a while.
Are we comparing by dollar or by what?
There are Pringles, but I have no idea how much they are.
Okay.
Legit.
I'm trying to think of something universal that would, like a branded thing.
All three of us would know.
Heinz ketchup.
Heinz ketchup.
I don't know if that's just an English thing.
Yeah, $1. Heinz ketchup.
That's about 1 quid here, though, to be fair.
I've never bought ketchup.
Yeah, but that's international. If you're talking about like
That's what I mean, though. So, like, why is the stuff that's local like 30p?
So hold on, what are we talking about here exactly? Because it's like Heinz ketchup. Are we talking about that little bottle or the biggest bottle ever? Because I always buy the biggest Heinz bottle.
There's a lot of technicalities here, Bertie. You can't just.
Why are you looking?
Pringles.
Okay, so why are you looking to poke holes in this statement? Why would I lie to you? It's genuinely cheap to live here.
It's not a lie. I believe you believe it. I just don't think it holds up in the court of public opinion.
It does. I mean, you can ask.
Facts and logic will prove you wrong.
You can.
What about a bottle of Coke? Everyone has a bottle of Coke. Like a normal...
Like a plastic bottle, not like a...
I honestly genuinely
like
don't know.
Bottle.
I genuinely don't know because I don't drink carbonated drinks. I'm not allowed.
That's actually... I don't drink soda either.
Yeah,
so
I can't drink soda like
you
medically.
You submit something there. Why am I suggesting everything if you don't even use it?
We don't have to harp on this subject anyway.
I buy weird things, so I don't know what to...
Let's go this way then. By the time it's 1 year anniversary of this damn podcast, Starfield will be out by then. We would be making like 5 videos per week.
Okay, don't push it that far, okay?
And we'll be earning a bunch of money.
Maybe Scrolls 6. On
we'll be earning
6, 5
the
videos.
bottom line is we'll be earning a lot more money than we do now. Therefore, the money will not be a problem. So we will go, I guess.
Therefore, we can rent an island and then set our own currency.
In like Saudi Arabia or some shit.
Yes.
Didn't
we'll
someone
use
mention...
instead.
Didn't one of you mention one time that we could like travel somewhere together?
I said to Serbia, we talked about this. Like, I remember... it wasn't like a obviously direct specific discussion where we were like, oh, serious about it, but we were like juggling ideas of you guys like coming here, and I can just basically give you one of my apartments and you can just hang around there. And
imagine uttering the sentence just in a normal one of my apartments in a normal conversation.
What can I tell you?
Just say like it's nothing.
I live in a privileged middle to high class white family. I don't know what else to tell you.
I feel like we all need to move to Serbia and embrace the currency.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
You were serious about it at one point,
as well.
Like Burnsy, you were like proper serious about it at one point. I remember you were
well, yeah, because Syn was like, I was burning fuck all and barely able to like afford anything, and Syn's like, yeah, I've got 3 apartments and just buy whatever I want. I got the highest grade PC ever to exist, and look at my setup, it looks like a fucking spaceship, and I'm like double the subscriber count and barely able to fucking live. I'm going to Serbia, guys. It's over.
Yeah. I mean, no, like on a serious note, genuinely, like there would be so many places that I could take you guys to, and you'd have a lot of fun here. There's so many cool places to visit as a tourist. Like we're talking clubs, whether regular parks, clubs, malls, whether they're... I would take you to one of the basketball games between the 2 rivaling teams. I don't know.
Have you ever watched a basketball game?
Do you care about basketball or soccer or football more? Okay, take you to football, even better.
I don't think anyone has basketball in every other country.
Okay, but I only said basketball because I was a basketball player. But if you want to watch football, we can watch football. Yeah. The point is, like, these rival teams are the rivalry is so big. Then whatever it's a home game, it's always in Belgrade, just different stadiums. We have 2 different stadiums, and one of them is called Maracana, which is basically a stadium of the club called Red Star. And this damn thing is so freaking huge. And our what would you call it, spectators or whatever, people who watch games are similar to British people
the Eastern
in terms of temperament.
Fans are mad.
And they get really mad, and there's like cheering and shit. It's really good to see. Yeah, it's really fun to see, especially as a tourist.
Well, you heard it here first. Here's the the Serbia trip, the fabled Serbia trip, which will happen one day.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to, or what's like the biggest sporting event you guys have ever been to in terms of like this global interest?
Oh, I already know mine.
Is yours the Super Bowl or something?
Well, one of them is Super Bowl, but it's not the top. It was a game between Sacramento and Denver. It was a home game for Sacramento, and I remember I was still in the United States as a part of foreign exchange student. You guys know that, me talking about that from episode 2, and we got tickets from our coach, and so we went there. And the reason why I will never forget that game is because it was like one only NBA game that I went to, but it was one of the closest matches that I've ever witnessed, and Sacramento won by last second shot, 3-pointer, last second. It was insane. The arena absolutely blew up, and I will never forget that event.
Was that like a college thing or NBA?
No. It's NBA, Arco Arena, which is basically... Kings were a lot better back then. Not sure what they are now. I don't even follow NBA because NBA became annoying and political and activist-like, and I honestly don't want to hear any of that crap. But back then, it was all about sports. It was all about teams competing, and Sacramento was a lot better. And also, Sacramento was well known back then by having 2, and at one point even 3 Serbian players in it. So that's why, as well. I will never forget that. It was so good.
Honestly, I don't really go to anything unless I'm dragged there by other family members. So probably the biggest thing that I've went to, there's like a yearly, I don't know how yearly it is, but it at least was when I was going. There was a yearly football event at Wembley called Soccer Aid. I don't know if you've heard of it, Gim.
Yeah, it's like they have like retired players and celebrities.
Yeah, they have retired players and celebrities, and one of the celebrities who's always captain of the England team was Robbie Wiliams, who, if anyone doesn't know, is a singer. And my mom is obsessed with Robbie. Like, every album, every calendar that comes out, she'll buy, like, that type of obsessed. So she would drag everyone. I'd say drag me. Everyone else was happy to go to these football games like once a year. And actually, there is one where I got a picture with this. Have you ever heard of Man vs. Food? I think it's called that. I think it's like a show
on what?
where
the like the American guy, right?
Yeah, and he just eats
hot stuff and starts crying.
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name? I saw him in a random
something?
YouTube. Yeah. I saw him in there's a YouTuber called Mikey Chen who goes out and eats stuff.
Yeah.
I've heard of him as well.
Him on as a guest. So, yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he was playing for like one of the teams, probably the rest of the world, because he's probably not English, considering you just said American. And I had no idea who he is, but you know when like you're at like a celebrity game or something, and one of the team players comes up, and you just pretend to know who they are, and you're like, oh yeah, and you get a picture with them, and I'm like, yeah, and then he like shakes around and everything, and walks off, and I'm like, I have no idea who the fuck that was, and they have to look it up after. So there's a picture of me somewhere with that guy going like, yeah, but that's the only person. Actually, oh no, this is gonna be embarrassing. I know who I'm about to say. I'm just gonna say the last name because Jose Mourinho. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
My brother got a picture with him. Because he was like captain one of the teams, and you know that is Gim. Syn probably won't. No. And they're the only people that we ever met. I think Robbie Wiliams looked at my mom once, and she will never stop talking about it. So. That's probably my biggest thing. But Wembley's always like the biggest arena in the UK anyway.
Yeah.
And that was sold out for one of the
probably it's not the biggest stadium in the world, but it's definitely like one of the top 3 most.
You hear about it all the time.
Prestigious as
Yeah.
What about you, Tim?
What about yours?
Well, I've been to like so many football games in general, from like low league Norwegian stuff to I've been to like over 15 Norwegian national games. I guess those are kind of big. Like at one point, they've played against Italy, the Netherlands, Croatia. I've been to those games, but the biggest thing I've ever been to, and this is just. It's not just a game, but it was more than that, because it was a player's last game for that club. So for those who don't know, I am a Barcelona fan. I've been so since birth.
somehow,
And,
even though he lives in Norway. And
it's quite normal. Like most Norwegians are either Man United fans or Liverpool, because
Why,
in the 80s or 90s, I think they were airing Premier League in Norway. Like that was they're airing it on national TV. And
yeah, that's common here as
so
well.
that's why. And it's pretty common to be a supporter of the biggest clubs when you're growing up, right? And that stays with you for the rest of your life. Now with me, like Barca wasn't exactly that. They were a big club back in like 2004, but for me it was just when I saw Ronaldinho, I was an Insta fan, and from that moment on, I just
I mean, your name is based off Ronaldinho.
Yeah,
even now.
It kind of is.
Yeah, because every time you try to tell someone how to pronounce SgtGimlinho, you're like Ronaldinho, and then anyone who's not English or like Norwegian is like, what? Who? What?
I'm sorry, but that is such a horrible branding for YouTube, man. It's so difficult to search for you, man.
There's so many YouTubers who have Inyo in their name. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, do you not? Have you? I can't even count on my hands the amount of times after someone's heard you for the first time, they just say either that Gim dude or they just say it wrong, like Gimhino or
I mean, that's the point. It creates discussion, right? But at the end of the day, like once you get to like. Once you watch me a little bit, everyone just calls me Gim anyway.
Yeah,
Apart from that one podcast that you was on way back in the day, where you was there live as the guy was calling you Grim, and you didn't say anything for the entire podcast. You just let him call you Grim for the entire thing.
I just remember hearing it the first time, and I was like, oh, he probably had like a weird tongue twist or something.
It was an impediment.
It probably came off wrong, and then he kept on saying it. I was like, at this point, I'm just gonna accept it. It's gonna be weird if I stop in the middle of a podcast and go, bro, it's actually Gim, not Grim.
Yeah, probably.
That story always makes me laugh. I swear.
I kept on thinking about. Have you guys seen the third Harry Potter movie? Right, when in the Prison of Azkaban, probably the best one, but we're not gonna talk about that right now. So when they're in that class where they're like reading the cups after they've drank coffee, they're like reading their cups to like, I don't know.
Oh, it tells you future.
Yeah, and then that guy is like, it's the Grim when he looks about. I was thinking of that. But anyways, to continue with what I was talking about, I went to, it was the last game of the season like 2 years ago at Camp Nou, which is let me get this right. It's the world's biggest capacity stadium. I'm pretty sure 99,000 something, unless someone somehow built something better the last couple of years. I don't know, but it was the last game, which meant that they would like lift trophies and etc. But it was also Andres Iniesta's last game for the club. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Oh yeah.
Maybe Syn, if you watch the World Cup in 2010, he's the guy who scored for Spain in the final. He's a beautiful player, a beautiful man, bro. A
beautiful, bold man.
A magician. Like, just watching him.
I only know because he had 90 dribbling and 90 passing FIFA 13 or something. Yeah. That's the only reason I know this player.
It's what you call a maestro, man. Him, Xavi, and Busquets in the midfield, those were the good times. But anyways, that was his last game, and the whole Camp Nou was packed. I was there with my brother. We got tickets from my mother. It was a birthday present, and it was so cool. Everyone was singing all the time. I have Snapchat videos that I post to my story, and I didn't know you could hear my own voice in them, but you hear my scuffed voice, just like Iniesta. That's which I found out afterwards. But that was so cool, and just to see Messi didn't play the full game, but he came on as a sub. Just to see Messi not in person, I was like high up on the arena, but just to see him in real life, that was insane.
Yeah, everybody owes it to itself to occasionally, from time to time, watch one of these big games just to experience the hype at the stadium that you obviously it cannot be translated through TV.
Because I've literally watched every single Barca game since 2009. I've watched it on TV, so to see them live was just crazy, and I'll never forget that. Since it was his last game as well, like the way many clubs do it, but especially Camp Nou or Barca, they give these posters out on each seat, which you're gonna hold up to make out a big mosaic, right? That's what they call it. So it spells out something. And it said the whole arena was covered in blue and red, the Blaugrana colors, and it said thank you Iniesta or Iniesta forever. That was just a cool ass experience.
Very nice.
Well,
I remember.
You fine.
Yeah,
Go
just
on.
briefly
No.
wanted to say I wanted to follow up on the whole being a fan of an international club that doesn't necessarily has anything to do with your country. One of the most popular teams here was actually, I don't know if it's pronounced in English that way, but it's like Juventus, which is Italian team. It used to be really popular, and Rome as well.
Yeah, the like people born in the 90s and late 80s especially grew up like when they were growing up, the best teams were the Italian teams, so like AC Milan, Juventus.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people love them as well.
All right, Burnsy, you had a segue, I'm assuming.
Yes.
You have been a segwayer for now.
By the way, I never thought I was going to be able to talk about football on this podcast, which is kind of made me feel good.
We'll have a guest on one day that actually cares about football, and then you'll be able to talk more about it.
I mean,
you'll be
forced,
just like, yeah, sounds
you'll
good.
be forced to talk about it in
Soccer.
6 months from now when the World Cup starts.
Yeah, when we have nothing better to talk, we've ran out of topics, and we're just like, Gim, tell us about football for an hour again.
I'll be like the live reporter this week at the World Cup.
We can start a football-only podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to segue. I just don't have a segue. This is the issue, okay? I was going to say, speaking about football, Gim, you still haven't uploaded a video. 3 weeks in, I'm going to do this check every week on the podcast until you've uploaded it.
But I explained it the last time. I made the whole I made the whole first episode, add the layout.
Okay, well, you've had a week since then.
And
what
then, it's 50% done.
It was 50% done last week.
Yeah,
it was last episode. Oh right, you were busy. You had
I told you I was away this weekend.
Yeah.
I was at the
away.
same as you, Burnsy, at a wedding.
Yeah.
Only
we was at the same wedding, actually. We were getting married. Okay, don't fake laugh. Just stay. If it's not funny, just sit in silence, okay? I don't want any of this fake bullshit, okay, boys?
Well, that's what I do most of the time when you tell jokes, so it is what it is.
What you said happened at your wedding was quite funny, though.
See, there you go.
Funny?
Yeah. He didn't die.
So that makes it funny?
I don't know. Did you know the person? Were you close?
No.
Then it's funny.
Well, for anyone, okay, well, everyone can see Gim's sense of humour then when I tell this story.
Okay, but
I won't go into too much detail, but basically, just before we all sat down for the ceremony, waiting for the bride to come out and walk down the aisle.
Oh god.
Everyone was really excited. Everything was going well. Everything was perfect. There was a woman playing the harp. You know, the guy at the front was all suited up and ready to go. The bride's mother came in looking gorgeous, and just before the bride was ready to leave the room and walk down, literally about 30 seconds, the groom's father had a stroke. Why are you laughing?
Because I was just
with the wide ass smile.
The issue is now I seem like a dickhead, right? Because now you said it in a sad way, like
it's
a slow
sad.
way. But the way you said it previously was like,
no,
I
you
was
just
at a
didn't
wedding
expect it.
and a dude had a stroke, and I just couldn't stop. Like that was how you said it. So
Well, that's what happened.
yeah, but. You explained it in a way now that makes me seem like a shitty
To be
person.
fair, I can see the game's point. The theme of we were going for this time versus what you said the first time was a little bit different. Yeah.
And also, it's kind of funny to visualize like
It isn't. It was like
group
they was like
down
he's
the
having
aisle
a stroke, and everyone was like, "Get up and like spread the chairs away, like get cushion." Like it was dramatic. It was like,
Just
oh my god, this is like a Hollyoaks episode.
When you say it like that, it sounds
we can
violent,
excuse
so.
Gim. We can excuse Gim because he is fine. He turned out okay, so nothing happened to him. So
Yeah. Oh, the stroke. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the stroke
I thought you
person,
meant
yeah.
Gim was okay. I was like, you sure?
Yeah,
something happened to Gim as a kid. I'm pretty sure.
No,
For the record, he was fine after. He's still with us. It's fine. And then everything went perfectly after that. But that was almost a disaster. Let's just
That
say.
guy,
And
that's gonna be
momentarily
me.
a disaster.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like a close family type of wedding, or was it just some?
The ceremony I guess was like close family and friends, but then like the party was like everyone could come after. So it was a good wedding. To be fair, it's a whole castle was like rented out on top of like a giant hill. It was a nightmare to find parking, and I had to park at the bottom of the hill of the castle and then walk up in blazing heat wearing a suit so it wasn't fun. And if you couldn't guess already, I'm an Elder Scrolls YouTuber, so I'm not in the best shape. So that wasn't that
That's not
fun.
an excuse, bro.
Not an excuse,
No,
bro.
it is an excuse, Gim, because you are in good shape and you're not an Elder Scrolls YouTuber.
Yes.
You don't fucking upload.
I was
mate.
waiting for it.
You're a podcaster now. That's your main occupation.
Speaking of weddings, if you guys want, I can take about a minute or two to actually tell you guys a story how, because I think that's relatively interesting to listen to, somewhat to a degree, how me and Shay met and then how we got married as well, because it's completely out of the ordinary. It's not your classical thing.
I mean, I've
It's
heard this before, and every time I find it interesting. I have more questions every time. So
Yeah, but it's,
go ahead.
it's
Tell
just
everyone how it
crazy.
went.
Like it's literally every like 13-year-old boy's dream to go like their favorite gameplay COD and then
Unironically,
meet a girl in the
Ironically, yeah.
lobby and marry her. Or something.
By the way, take this
Yeah.
as a not maybe a prescription, because this
No,
could go horribly
no,
wrong if you are not
Yeah.
very cautious. In this
Exactly.
area.
This is like,
Wait,
there's
what?
so many things that were out of the ordinary and that I wouldn't recommend to anybody. I mean, I know that Gim in the first episode said Sid would have a good relationship advice, and I genuinely think I would, because I think I have a great relationship with Shay, and we're basically an excellent team, and we're compatible as far as everything is concerned. Like I don't think I've met anybody who's more compatible with me. And I'm not saying this to be like, cutesy or whatever, but that's genuinely how it is.
Okay, Syn, don't worry, mate. I'll drop the bombshell for everyone. It's
Right.
his sister. They're so compatible.
Yeah, so compatible, and we even made a kid. Yeah. Anyway, so
You double
Not an
down on
advice.
it, bro. Now
That
it's
was
sounding
that was a
weird.
joke, by the way. I know sometimes it's hard to tell. They're not related, okay? As far as we know.
well, if you looked at the camera and have a sarcastic tone, if they don't get it, then man, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough for them, innit?
Anyway, so
Okay, tell us.
it's not an advice. Don't pursue this. I just got lucky. We just got lucky, and you shouldn't do this in order to find a partner. But in a very short, I guess, short version would be we both love MMOs, massively multiplayer online games, and we happen to have met in Black Desert Online, which is a Korean grinder type of an MMO. We're both fans of that. Anyway, so we met up in this specific spot. In the way that game works is you have an open world PvP. As long as one person opts out to PvP, they can kill anybody on the spot. No questions asked. The person who's receiving the beating can obviously fight back, or choose to return and then get beaten again over and over. There's some additional system that kind of prevents that behavior, obviously to protect the people who are a little bit new, but generally speaking, the PvP is open in that space. So yeah, one day I had my own guild. We were doing just some grinding, leveling up and stuff like
How
that.
do you start your own guild? You're talking to two people who have pretty much.
Yeah, but I'm
got-
not gonna tell them about my guild and BDO adventures, because that's boring. Nobody cares about that, right? I'm just
Yeah, but
talking
why
about
do you
the
make a guild? Like, is it?
to fight other guilds. It's PvP focused game.
Okay.
Okay, so the game is basically you grind for gear, you get stronger gear in order to fight for your guild, for territory, for nodes, and those nodes result in more money for you, therefore more gear, therefore more wars, therefore you stronger, you beat other people, feel adrenaline rush, and that's basically the circular progression of that game. Not everybody's cup of tea, but I really like it personally. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about that PvP segment because it's really important for how we met.
Yeah, I remember.
I was a guild master of a guild. I made my own guild, and I was kind of lifing that game a little bit too much. I was taking the whole guild master role a little bit too seriously, but it resulted in a very, very successful guild PvP wise, and we were very aggressive in the open world. And we were grinding on this spot. In that game, basically what you have different spots, and these different spots drop different loot that will be useful for your character or your guild progression. So there are some spots who are more popular, there's some who are less. This particular spot in which we met is really, really popular at the time. It was extremely popular. Everybody wanted to go there because money was great, loots were great, and the XP was great as well. And so one day there was like this a rotation in which my guild would go through and kill mobs and repeatedly get XP for us and our guild, and they would, or when I say they, I mean her at the time, obviously didn't know it was a she. 3 dudes at the time, me thinking 3 dudes are constantly stealing our packs and entering in our rotation ruining it out for hours, making us have to wait for them to respawn. Obviously, you don't want that because that slows the progression of your XP gain. And to make a long story short, they kept doing that. I was like, screw this, I'm flagging, I'm killing them. And so I killed her, at the time, I guess, buddies, guildmates, few times. Because I was kind of overgeared. I was really strong because I was no-lifing that damn game. And they were on under gear for my level at the time as well. And so I killed them multiple times. And I guess I still have to thank that dude, by the way. My officer approached him and said, why are you griefing us? Why can't you see that we're grinding on this spot? We're clearly stronger than you. You keep coming back to the same spot, getting killed over and over.
First of all, is it you had an officer?
Yes, I had officers. That's actually a common theme in MMOs.
Syn was a very professional and dedicated guildmaster.
No, it's not about that. It's not
he
about
used to roleplay in voice and be like, here, sire, we are going to defend my fair mistress, Shaliana.
No, it's not about that.
I will defend her honor
they are
and
literally
court my
called
wife
officers
and meet her
in MMOs,
in real
dude.
life. So for
Okay.
anyone that's listening to Syn talk and not understanding,
How is anybody supposed to take the story seriously when you cannot even...
Since I sent my
Both of you are
latchkey
latching
to the
on the
east
most
end of the-
lame possible things from this
Syn.
goddamn story. I don't even want to tell it anymore, goddamn it.
So for anyone that wants a simpler version of this, basically, Syn was every simp's dream is to go up to his fair maiden who was getting killed over and over again and went, I will defend you, I will fight for your honor.
No, see,
And then that's how they met.
The detail is missing, but I was going to end the story anyway. We killed him multiple times after my officer, and the reason why I say officers, that's what they're called in the MMO genre.
Okay.
You have guild masters, and then you have officers, and then you have quartermasters. That's what they're called. I don't fucking name it.
Well, sorry, I got the lingo wrong.
How dare you not know the MMO titles and shit?
Sorry,
anyway,
my
so my officer approached, or I guess my guildmate approached him, and he was like, "Why are you griefing us?" And then eventually that kind of like started being friendly towards each other, and then another group started griefing them, and so I started.
It's not called a group, Syn. It's called a clan. Okay, it's called a.
I don't know if they were clan.
A house.
Multi-generational
and then
house.
House Bannerlord defended them and decided to come in.
Speaking of Bannerlord, I should play that game. It's a really good game, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Recommend it.
Such a random.
Yeah, bro. It's weird that you say that. I literally, my brother was here like before we went to our wedding, and he just wanted to play something on my PC, and I reinstalled Bannerlord for him to play.
Yeah.
And it was just featured in the video that I just made as well. Maybe it's a calling. We should all play Bannerlord. I don't even know what it is really.
I already have actually on my
Contact
channel.
their developers and be like, you
Whoa,
guys want to get sponsored?
We just heard a little peep from Gim, and we didn't acknowledge it.
What do you mean peep?
What do you mean you've already played it on your channel?
I already got. I have a warband video that was privated on my channel, but I have a Bannerlord video that is public. I'm pretty
Really?
sure. Yeah,
Really?
I was trying to start a playthrough day one when not the Bannerlord, but the Bannerlord is a new one, right?
Is that for like second channel or something?
No, my main channel.
Oh,
When?
really?
When it came
Like before
out.
Skyrim or during
When
Skyrim?
it went into pre-alpha. Or
Oh.
alpha or whatever it
Oh,
was.
right. I remember that. Yeah.
Because I've played Warband for a bunch of years. I even made like a Naruto modded overhaul Warband playthrough on my channel like a while ago. It's privated, but it's like
God
heavily
damn it.
edited.
You take a
before
banner
or
roll.
after the anime
Oh, God.
video? the what was it like the
What?
I don't even know how to describe it. Like the big hentai video that you play. There's a video on your channel.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
now you know.
I did. You know what? Syn had a story to tell, and I think we should go further.
I figured that ship had sailed because you guys interrupted me, so I figured it's not that interesting.
No, just continue. We don't need to talk about.
Yeah, sorry. You courted your fair maiden on against the fellow guild master.
I was
officer.
gonna get to the less boring part, which is MMO stuff. Basically, then we invited them to our guild. They joined our guild. We became really good friends, and that lasted for like 9 months. And this is the part that I wouldn't recommend to anybody. We kind of started, or I guess declared that we like each other or whatever, and then we chatted every day, and that lasted for like three months. We got to know each other very well, and then she decided, and this is again, do not do this. She decided to come to Serbia and obviously visit me, and one thing led to another. Then we decided to do she comes here for 3 months and then goes for 3 months because we still couldn't commit to her moving here or me moving to Denmark, but at the same time, You also cannot stay here longer than 90 days unless you have some sort of a visa. So you, with the Danish passport, you can come here for like 90 days and leave for 90 days and then basically rinse and repeat. And that was the theme for about a year and a half. And eventually I just said, you know what, I think it's both agreed. It's just a smart idea for you to move in here. And then, yeah, she moved in. And the reason why we got married in the most non-classical wedding was in order to get her papers, in order so she could stay here. And then after third year, which is now in October, she's supposed to get the citizenship, Serbian citizenship.
So what would you have done if she turned up to Serbia and it was a 40-year-old man?
No, but you've probably seen her before.
Yeah, we've seen each other.
But
Yeah,
did you? Did you?
Yes, of course.
Please tell me you did. Please.
For fuck's sake, Discord existed at the time. You go on a web camera, you talk, you can hear the voice, you can see what's going on.
Just checking you went through the
No.
checks and balances before doing that.
I went through the logistics. Yes, I wouldn't have just dived headfirst without even knowing what's going on. So
I mean, me and Gim have both had experience with certain people pretending to be different people for very long times.
What is it called? Catfish? Did you guys get catfished ever?
No, we didn't get.
I think catfishing is when you're like, when it's specifically dating. This was just someone that was in our community, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how much detail we want to go into.
Wait,
this
so hold on.
sake.
So catfishing is not when somebody
It is
presents themselves to be a female or a good-looking female.
I guess it is, but it's more. I would assume I would relate it more to being like when you're trying to like talk to someone and then they're catfishing you, right? But this is just someone that was like a mod
They're
on our
not the
servers or
person
something.
you expect, right? That's
yeah. I know that story. Oh, that's not catfishing. Yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's literally just impersonation. Like it's illegal impersonation.
That was really weird. That was super weird when you guys told me that story. That was really weird.
Without giving out names, because I don't know what this person. Whatever. Basically, there was this one community member in both of our Discords. I think they were in yours for a very long time before mine, and they like were chatting all the time. They were going under a certain alias, as we later found out, who essentially had this whole story where there were a Chinese Chinese woman who
really rich,
really rich, and they would like send PCs and graphics cards to people if they asked for them and things like that. Which is, looking back, it's a bit fishy when you like say things like that.
Yeah, but this person was really committed to the role. I didn't want to delve too far into this, but like this was everything, like in multiple communities, even within the modding scene.
And they might still be around under the same name now.
Probably another,
maybe. Which it's conflicting to be like, well, should we say the names just in case they are? But then it's also like,
we don't have to.
But it's probably best.
It's one of those things where you there are red flags, but it's like you only understand that they were red flags once you actually know the whole picture. But at the time, they don't make any sense, and you don't kind of like notice them or sniff them.
I didn't really fall for it as hard as Burnsy.
I mean,
I didn't
fall for anything. I was okay.
We have to now tell this story because we have been like going around this, so people now have to know what happened.
Okay, there was we still probably shouldn't say names, but we'll just tell everyone. So. This person was in Gim's server for a while, moved to mine. I think maybe they were in Syns, but did they get banned, or was that someone else?
No, this was before. Their mission or adventure ended before I think Syn entered.
They didn't advance to Syns. They had a good wild run until.
It was until your medieval video, and it was like a week after that or something.
Right. Oh yeah, I even forgot about the medieval thing. Yeah. So essentially, they got to this point where they were like quite a well-known person in the community. They're always speaking. Like they never had any red flags. Always nice to everyone, as far as we could tell.
So hold on, just an interruption very briefly. Remember where you are. They had a female voice.
Okay, so
Gim knows this more than me because I never spoke to them.
So.
Because I don't know that part of the story that they spoke on Discord. I know they've written stuff on Discord and been on Discord, but I didn't know that they were actually on the microphone.
Okay, so it was just weird. Like there used to be like 8 to 7 people in my Discord every day just chatting, right? And this person used to join and be muted and type, but one time that person wasn't muted and was like in chat wrote that their English sucks. So
even though they type perfect English all the time.
Yeah, and then the voice, I don't know if I want to say the name, just said like, hello. like, hello, and like that sort of voice, and it kind of like cut out, and I was like, okay, this person has a really shitty mic. And then like noises like that was basically it, and like giggles. So it's just a weird, I don't know.
Yeah, so looking back, it was obviously a bit sus. But like, a lot of people have bad mics. A lot of people are shy. They don't speak. Like, a lot of people just mute and type. So it wasn't that enormous.
My thing, even if it was a catfish, I didn't really care. Like, I don't really care who you're trying to be or who you really are.
It's such a weird thing to commit to, though. Like, why? I don't understand.
For such a long time as well.
Yeah,
by the way.
like what's the benefit?
Like 2 to 3 years almost.
But I remember,
like, it's not like there's aversion against guys online or something, no matter what you look like, especially in an online space. There's no reason to act this way. I guess maybe hoping for some sort of handouts or something. I just don't know.
I don't have any idea why. But so, you can speculate after, but there is a point. There is a point to this story at the end for how it ended up. So basically, I'd never heard them speak on mic, but like they would message all the time, and then eventually, where they were like helping in like the mod help section of the Discord a lot. So they were like, it seemed like a valued community member. And what do valued community members do? They, when you ask for people to become moderators, they go, oh, I'll help. And because they're, around all the time, they're always helping, they look trustworthy. You go, all right, you can be a moderator. You seem like you'll do a good job. And then I think the week I made this person a moderator, which was very lucky that they didn't get it for much longer than that. It was the same week when I was uploading a game change, transforming Skyrim into a medieval game. And they would, leading up to that, basically message me and be like, oh, I've made this EMB. I'd really like it if you could show it off in a video sometime. And typically I wouldn't, but because they were a moderator and I knew them, I was like, okay, well, give me the EMB. If it looks nice and can fit the theme, I'll put it in the video. And, it was a decent EMB. It looked very nice and it fit the video very well. And I filmed the entire video, filmed the segment showing off the EMB and everything, was ready to upload the video with this person's like name and like in it advertising this is their EMB with their name tag and everything. And then someone, I don't know how this happened, but it was perfect timing. Someone out of nowhere joined the Discord. I don't know if this happened in yours first, Gim, or if it's just mine.
So basically, I have a moderator who was pretty sus of the person from the start, which meant that when they were typing a chat, this person was always like really critical of them. Like when they were saying they had like a bunch of GPUs, it's like, oh, how convenient. And I think someone from another community, which were. So there was this whole other group of people.
Oh god, this is an entangled web.
Yeah. So apparently this person has done this before with multiple names and aliases.
Jesus Christ.
So there was a group of people who, from like a previous community this person interacted with, like tracked them to ours, and then told my moderator about like who this was and why I need to watch out.
Yeah, so basically they joined and basically went, beware of this person, I've just noticed them in the server, they are not who they say they are, here's all the details of like what they've done in the past and all this. And then that instantly I was like, oh fuck, like this is in a video, this is really weird. And then they blocked everyone and like deleted themselves from the server and things like that. And then we later found out that the EMB that they made was just stolen off someone else.
I mean,
and then,
that was kind of known. I
didn't know that. No one likes to tell me these things.
There were always people in my server on like the mod suggestion were like, "Isn't this just like a rename of this EMB?" But
yeah, basically that happened. But after knowing that, this person was basically. By the way, it's not just like having a username. They took someone else's Instagram pictures off their feed and like set up their own Instagram with those pictures and like basically full on impersonated them. It was really weird.
But
I feel sorry for the actual person who they took the pictures off, and that was part of the proof that guy who sent the real Instagram. Be like, this is the person that they stole the pictures off and all this type of things.
I mean, the weirdest thing was that this person was like going to people and being like, I can send you a GPU or a new PC to send me your address, which unfortunately some people in my community did. Yeah. I didn't because And
then one of the people that did as well went AFK for like a week after this happened, and everyone was like, oh my god, what happened?
I mean, luckily I'm very like distrusting of, or at least before even showing my face.
I still don't understand the motivation. It's like, what's the motivation? Because clearly, if it was like much more malicious, they would have done something to your server, right? As soon as they've gotten the moderator role.
Yeah, I don't think it was malicious. I think it was more. I would expect it's more of a.
They genuinely wanted
like
to be another person.
Thing.
Yeah, they wanted to be another person. Okay.
Like genuinely, because I was also messaged like 6 months after like the whole thing happened on Reddit of all places. This person was trying to like, I mean, it's not that deep. It was like an apology, but they also said that if there's a possibility if we could still be friends, and I was just like, whatever.
Oh, so they're around now?
Not like around, I don't know, but it was a Reddit message, because I've used my Reddit profile before on like Skyrim modding communities, and this person had, I don't know.
Anyway, long story short, I was about to upload the video. I had to go back, cut the part out of the video about talking about the EMB. The EMB was still used to film the rest of the video, which I'm obviously not going to redo the entire thing because it took like a month or whatever. So I just cut the bit out showcasing it and then kind of uploaded it. And that meant that video was shorter than it was meant to be. I think it was still fine and it did well and everything. And, you know, all good in the end. But it was very close to having a bit of a fiasco. Like, I've had videos in the past that I've made mistakes on, and then after someone points it out, and I'm like, oh, for God, like now I've done something wrong, or like put a wrong mod author's name in the title, and I was like, this is close to being the worst one, I think.
I mean, this is again, as we mentioned last time, this was before you went into the whole mod. You jumped over to mod organizer and took it seriously. You used to always have that comment that was like, that mod doesn't work with this mod, bro. What are you
I think that was maybe the final straw, was like, okay, I need to care more about what mods I'm putting in my video now.
Yeah, but not to make too much excuses for you. Like, it's very difficult. Like, I don't want to pretend like we're victims or anything like that, but it's like sometimes if we, you know, don't get the name right, or maybe we miss that it's not necessarily an ENB who belongs to the person that gave us, or it's perhaps stolen assets or something like that. So you kind of like have to bear with us that we haven't seen that through, because there's just so many things happening, and sometimes we don't necessarily see these things at the time. And, you know, by the time the video is completed, you have to keep in mind that dozens of hours of effort goes into these videos, and it's not anything malicious. It's just that we didn't find it in time. And gotta bear with us a little bit if something ends up in the video format that is not supposed to be there, or maybe credit has not been provided to the original author or something like that. Eventually we try to correct it, but sometimes you can't just outright delete the whole video.
Yeah, like if it's something like a link in the description or something, you can amend it, or like post a pinned comment saying, oh, this was wrong or whatever. If it's something built into the editing of the video, you can't do much about it once it's up. Like, for example, on the Middle-earth video, not the Lord of the Rings one, the second one I did, I was showing off, I think, Jedi Trees, which is already a little bit controversial, but... I
remember that. I remember me messaging you again.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Messaged me straight after and went, what the fuck? Yeah, so essentially what happened was, in the video, first of all, I think I said the wrong name in the first place. Like, because there was like two people who...
You said the name of the owner of the server.
Yeah, so the person who made it was Dave Jedi, right? That's correct. But the server who had the link to it was Wine Dave. And I read both the names and just assumed they were the same person because they both had Dave in it, which looking back is very stupid. But I just like, oh, Wine Dave is Dave Jedi. He just has two names. It's like, I don't know, Burnsy or Heavy Burns. That doesn't really line up, but whatever. It's the same person. Somehow they clicked in my brain.
You were an idiot back then.
Yeah, anyway. So the name baked into like the mod title said like Jedi Trees made by Wine Dave or something. And then also, the link in the description to that mod went to the Discord server, Wine Dave's, who had the mod on it. But just before that happened, like a week or two before, he had like got really fed up with a lot of people joining just to download that mod, that he said, I don't want to talk about Jedi Trees anymore. Please do not link to this server anywhere. And obviously I didn't get the memo. So like after that video went out, everyone was like, Jedi Trees look amazing, because it's ridiculously cool, that mod, and like you never saw anything like it at the time. And so everyone from that video was flooding into this Discord, being like, Jedi Trees, after this guy made this policy, being like, please do not talk about Jedi Trees here, or don't ask for a link. And then I had to go through and like do damage control for the rest of the evening, basically like, oh no, please don't go there, this is the new link, like, you can't download it from here. And it was all a disaster, and I had to apologise profusely to Wine Dave, who's a great guy, and who is on the Skype Living team now, so I feel really bad every time I see him.
I mean, you can kind of, again, you can amend it by editing the description, maybe adding an annotation that now this has been changed.
But now the name's in the video, you can't change
there's only so much that you can do to change the in-video overlays or something like that. So it's not malicious. We never do it maliciously. We always try to credit people who are deserving. But obviously, original authors, it's not always the case, and sometimes we miss. And
I love it. I thank you for saying we, but it's only ever been me that's done it so far. So
I remember that like it was literally yesterday. I every time you guys upload, I immediately watch it, and then I'm watching this video, and then I see you had like a shot where you kind of like tilted the camera and had the reflect in the angle, so it looked kind of cool, and then the overlay pops up. Jedi Trees and then Winder. I'm like, what? And then I go in the description and I see the Discord link, and I immediately went into DMs. Removed instantly.
It takes you to do things wrong for you to learn your lesson, okay? I think since then I haven't got a name wrong. Actually, since then I've just stopped putting the names in the video. I'm not even risking it. You know what? The mod's there. You can see the name of the mod person on the mod page. Like, I'm not, whatever, man. Like,
I remember because I knew you were covering Jedi like some weeks before, and I remember just thinking like, should I kind of tell him that it's a little bit an iffy one to cover, or
because no one told me there's like assets in it that aren't technically allowed and things like that.
I was like, and then I was like, no, he'll figure it out. He joined the server. Surely he'll start like reading. stuff.
I don't even read mod pages. Why would I go read the server descriptions?
I remember in a group chat, like I write this, and then Gim is like, they're not supposed to be shared, and it was like both of us piling on you, and you were just in panic mode.
I was like, oh god, here we go again. By the way, I don't think, fingers crossed, I don't think I've had an incident since then, okay? That was the last one. I think after that I went, okay, I need to care now a little bit.
It's not even about caring. Obviously you care, right? It's just that you cannot like know everything. It's just impossible.
Don't take the precautions that I knew I didn't know what precautions to take, essentially. I didn't know there were precautions. Yeah. It's
not even precautions. Like I have no reason to like defend you. Obviously, like we can make fun, but it's like genuinely, you simply cannot know everything. And as much as like we have nothing but good intentions, like the best thing that you can do, anybody who's watching this podcast, every time you watch our videos and you click on a link of a mod page, please click endorse, because that's the least that you can do. It doesn't cost you anything, and it gives the mod more traction and more visibility, so it can be downloaded more, and therefore they can earn donation points and hence earn some money and revenue from their work. So it's not like we're trying to like hide or do something malicious. It's just it's impossible to keep up with everything, and sometimes you miss very important details, and it might seem a little bit malicious on the surface, but trust us, it's not. It's just
there's a few steps that there's kind of been implemented, maybe not necessarily to avoid these reasons, but that help avoid it. Like a lot of the videos I make now, I will ping the Discord for mod suggestions for that video, so like people have the chance to see it. If someone suggests a mod and then someone else knows something about it that it maybe is iffy or like is weird, then they can say like it's public most of the time what mods I'm going to use before I even make the video. So there's a lot more like room to wiggle there rather than me just like finding things myself, which is usually the problem.
Right, and you also take the extra precaution of saying, you know what, I'm just going to include Nexus mods and let the Nexus moderation do the job of figuring out if these assets used in all of the mods that are on their website are actually legitimate, because Nexus obviously moderates all of that stuff. If something is copyright protected and it's been maliciously used and stuff like that, they always remove that stuff until the whole thing has been fixed by the author, or maybe if not fixed, then it just gets permanently removed. So that's like one of the way where we can filter out some mods that are not necessarily, I don't want to say illegal, but maybe a little bit shady, right? Because Jedi was basically that, right? Jedi was I don't want to say like I'm ripping on Jedi Trees right now, because it was one of my favorite tree mods. It's just, let's face it, it was just somebody who just threw a bunch of trees around without necessarily caring where they're located a lot, and used a lot of the different trees as far as variety is concerned. And at the time that was kind of revolutionary to a degree, right? And then
I think like Blubbo has now became like the official person to make it not shady. So now we can have those type of trees, but actually have like a real link that isn't weird.
So that would be like another filter of trying to like not recommend anything, but which is also a kind of weird for us as well, because I know that I've been recommended or asked to review some mods that are not on Nexus because either they disagree with their moderation policy or they just don't want to have it included in the Nexus website. I want to have them there. It's just that part of me from learning from your mistake, being like, man, I really don't want to go through that particular situation where I would seem like I'm doing something or promoting something that is maybe a little bit shady, hence kind of damaging my reputation or whatever you want to call it, right? So,
and I mean,
the bottom line that I'm trying to make, the bottom line and the bottom point that I'm trying to make, we're not doing anything maliciously. We're just trying to showcase mods, and the best thing that we can hope for when showcasing mods is to provide credit to people who originally made it. That's it.
Yeah, and I mean, I've said this like in regards to learning things off each other, but one of the reasons that I'm happy, even if it's at my expense, I'm happy to have like the three of us, is if I make a mistake, I'm happy to be the sacrificial lamb, so you two know not to tread there or to not do the things that I do. Because when I make a mistake, you know about it, because I will tell you, so you'll know not to do that. And when you make a mistake, you'll tell me. Like, you learn from each other, not just from the positive things you do, but also from the things that you mess up or get wrong or just get unlucky with sometimes. Yeah.
That's why it's always nice being a part of a community. You share knowledge with each other, and then you learn from each other's mistakes. It's always good. Yeah. That actually kind of semi-segues to the segment that I wanted to talk about a little bit. I don't want to take too much of time because I've been rambling a lot in this particular episode.
Syn,
but
stop it! You say that every episode. We're here to listen to you speak, okay?
It's your podcast.
I will accept that. I will accept that criticism. It's just I feel bad when I talk and I don't let Gim has his piece because he's supposed to say something. Is that guy?
I space out off that.
You space out a lot. Yes, I know, and that's why I'm like, all right, I guess I'll be the one chatting
football
shit.
rant, okay? And we all decided collectively we don't want to ever hear that again, okay? So we're gonna no. I'm joking. Go on, Syn. What was you saying?
Yeah, I actually want to. Speaking of copyright and stuff like that, you, as probably Burns, you can assume where this is going, but this directly correlates to our YouTube thing and how everything works out. And if you guys care about us as creators, or genuinely, it doesn't have to be us, anybody who you watch, whether they be vloggers or gameplay commentary types, podcasters, whatever, try to be not necessarily patient or tolerant, but try to have an understanding that YouTube is a bit of a...
It's a bit of a wild west in terms.
Bit of a wild west, yeah. It's a rough place to earn money from. It can be very lucrative if you're doing things right and if you get a little bit lucky and algorithm blesses you and all of that stuff. But the side that you guys don't see is the hoops that we have to jump through in order to get that revenue to us, and how many predatory things are there that exists in order for that revenue to even diminish further. I will just say this briefly. We earn ad revenue from the ad breaks that you get on your videos, and then percentage goes to us, percentage goes to YouTube, and then depending which country you are, additional tax get deducted because obviously YouTube is a company based in US. For me, for example, somebody in Serbia that has no tax agreement with the US, I get additional 30% just gone out of my pocket, right? Which is not a problem. It is what it is. I chose this, and it's still very lucrative for me, somebody who lives in Serbia. But I want you to understand that revenue on YouTube is very, very shady. Not shady, but it's not a certain thing.
It's not stable.
It's not a stable. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about, the main point is companies who essentially have made their business to falsely flag other people's videos under the guise of copyright infringement in order to earn revenue from somebody else. Now, what does that mean? If you use a particular content and you transform that content, whether into a parody or a commentary or anything of the sorts, you are protected by so-called a fair use law, which means that if I take Burnsy's video and re-upload it, he holds all the right to it, and he has a right to basically copyright and earn all the revenue from it because it's his content. But if I take his video and then I make fun of it, or I add additional commentary on top of it and whatever, I transform it enough, I am using his content under the fair use, and transforming it to be essentially mine. So by law, I'm protected. However, the way YouTube works is when you get claimed by a third party who's supposedly protecting the original creator, the way YouTube does is just staying completely out of the equation. They don't want to be in the middle. They don't want to deal with billions of lawsuits a day because there's billions of minutes uploaded per day. Which is understandable. We're not blaming YouTube. It's just that we're trying to explain to people that they should be a little bit more patient and understanding when you see this video sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, stuff like that. Like, this is people trying to find alternative ways in order to earn money for their time spent editing videos and trying to, I guess, provide some sort of entertainment. And so the way YouTube does things, they stay completely out of it. The way it happens, you get a claim on your video, no matter how short that claim is. Let's say it's a 3-second soundbite. They claim that video, your whole video ad revenue is gone. You don't earn a dime from it, even though if a video is like an hour long. If it's 3 seconds, it's enough for them to claim it, and then you basically don't earn any more revenue. Your options as a creator is to appeal. However, since YouTube completely refuses to be in the middle of it, understandably so, the appeal goes back to the third-party claimer. And obviously, if they're doing it maliciously, they're not going to say, "Oh yeah, right, he disputed. We're just going to go ahead and just withdraw." No, they're not going to do it. There's stories of some Ukrainian companies and Russian companies that I've heard that literally made millions and millions of dollars of creating companies who were specifically made in order to falsely flag other people's videos. So they can earn revenue from them. And the way they do it is they know that they're breaking the fair use clause of the law, but they're doing it purposely because what they're hoping is they're going to come across people like us. We are fortunate enough to have a lot of views on our videos, even though we are very small as creators. We cannot, even though we get a lot of videos, we still financially cannot afford to battle it out in a court, which would mean thousands and thousands of dollars spending on, money for lawyers and judges and stuff like that. It's just a complete mess. You've heard probably stories like, what is his name? The podcast dude, a very popular one. H3, yes. He had a big case, a fair use case, but he can afford to fight these people because obviously he's earned a lot of money. Therefore, he can spend money on. I
think there was even like a fundraiser for it, and it got like 2 million. And even after that, he was like, it still ran us dry. So it's very expensive sometimes, depending on who you find.
Exactly. Yeah. Even if you start like a Kickstarter or whatever it is, you still, and when you, bottom line is, when you're small like us, you simply cannot afford to fight these companies. There's nothing that you can do other than just give that video away.
Yeah, and I think recently we've had the same thing where just like one company has basically claimed like collectively maybe 10 of mine and Syn's videos like together in the past week, and then we're just like, well, great, I guess that's advert's gone now. There's nothing you can do about it at that point.
Yeah, so last point that I want to make, we got claimed by a third party. Obviously, I disputed, but they just declined it. And if you try, by the way, this is really important as well, if you try to dispute it again, and obviously they will decline it again because they know what they're doing. They're not doing it because they're protecting somebody. They're doing it maliciously. So they're going to decline the second time. And when they decline the second time, you actually get a community strike on your channel. 3 community strikes on the channel means your channel is gone. So basically, disputing it for the second time, you're just putting your channel in danger. So your only options is either to sue them, and then obviously either win or lose a bunch of money on fees for lawyers and whatever, or just let it go like me and Burns are forced to do it. And so the final straw, the final point of this whole damn rant is when you see Raid Shadow Legends, Opera GX, Bannerlord, whoever is willing to sponsor us, please understand that that's us taking the slice of the cake that I think we would deserve for spending about hundreds of hours per video in order to give you entertainment for like 15 minutes. We also make it as accessible as possible and as skippable as possible, as convenient as possible for you to just skip through that content if you don't want to watch it. Understandably, you don't want to watch it. You're not there for whatever sponsor there might be, but just understand that they are there in order to help us continue doing what we're doing, so we don't have to rely on ad revenue on a space that is basically looking to extract as much of ad revenue as possible that we earn from ad breaks and stuff like that.
Also,
so that's the whole subject.
Advice for any small creators that are just starting now, or even like creators that are on the rise, or anyone planning to do a YouTube channel, get a service as early as you can, like what's the one you use, Gim?
Epidemic.
Pandemic or Envato, we all use for a bunch of things. Epidemic, whatever. Any of these services where you can like pay either a monthly subscription or a yearly or something, and you get a wide library of music, and then you can you have the license to that track, because then if anything gets claimed, you have one, the proof to do it, and two, they have no reason to deny your dispute at that point, because you literally paste the license in, and they're like, you're giving as much proof as you can to them to say you cannot win this even in court. So they go, okay, dispute, you have it back, and then you're good at that point, because they know they can't win that, because you have the license to it. There's no way you don't. So that would be something even the costly ones, I would recommend. It's worth the money, because
absolutely, it basically saves you the headache of thinking of basically every day you wake up opening up your email thinking, did I get a claim today? Right? And one of the best things that you can do to protect yourself from that is to find a third-party website that basically gives you these licenses, and they usually provide hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of soundtracks that you can use, and that obviously kind of helps you on the long term, not having to worry about that. And these companies will still try to go after you, trust me, these third parties, but you have a license that you can copy paste, and their main game, you have to understand, their main game is that they're hoping that you have no fighting power. They know that what they're doing is wrong. They're not doing because they think they're protecting somebody or something like that. They know exactly what they're doing. They have created a group. They have hired dozens, if not sometimes hundreds of people to chase after these videos, and they know that's malicious, but they still keep doing it because it gives them profit. If you take away that particular aspect out of the equation, they know they cannot win. Providing a license is a losing battle for them in any case possible. And even if you can afford a lawyer, what you can just tag YouTube or tag anybody who's popular out of the creators. Trust me, any YouTuber will defend you with their life. If you have a license for a song and you got claimed and your dispute got rejected, you just post that on Twitter, tag Asmongold, H3H3, I don't know who are the big creators, PewDiePie, whatever. One of them will respond, and that company will only get such a huge backlash that sometimes I've heard cases of them being shut down. They know this is the case, and they will not go after you if you possess a license. So do yourself a favor and get some sort of membership, whether through Envato or any other third party, because it's going to make your life easier.
Also, that might be not to give legal advice, because I know nothing about it, but that might be the easiest court case to fight in your life, to be fair, is literally you go to court, you don't even need a lawyer, you go yourself and you go, here's the license, and then they go, oh fuck, and then you win, because
of course, I understand, but you still have to go through the process, which you just don't
want.
No
one wants to go to court.
Exactly, that's another thing that they're hoping for. Oh, they're a small channel, they're not going to bother.
That's
their game.
We don't bother when we don't have a official thing we can prove, right?
But my argument is still, even though, I mean, that's one of the things that is a little bit of a gray area, and you have to hire somebody, and again, not a legal advice, not an expert. But my understanding is that what me and you are doing, and Gim, I guess Gim is not in discussion because his hasn't been claimed yet, but
actually, didn't one get claimed and he just went, screw it, you can have it, and it didn't even... I think one you had a license for, Gim, you got claimed, and you went, whatever, and I was like, dispute it, you have the license. He was like, whatever, and I was like, well, you don't do it, give me a login.
I mean, I've had multiple ones where it's like I've spent a humongous amount of time on a video, and then I've gotten these claims that they're like half claims, so they get a percent, some third, so YouTube gets a percentage,
escrow,
and my percentage is shared with some, apparently a random company in either I've had a company from China, Brazil, so some just random thing that doesn't even come up when you look it up. And they just came in. But the thing is, at that point, I'm like, I've spent so long working on this video, I just want to, get it out and not think about it, and
Also, this sounds like a coat, but I'm serious. If a video gets claimed, you won't get any views on that video. It sounds like you're just trying to come up with something like, that's the reason why it did do well, it got claimed. But honestly,
that's not a coat.
Syn, if you look on Syn's channel, look at the view consistency. Look at the one video on there that looks like less views, and it's claimed. It's the one that got claimed.
That's the one that's claimed.
It got claimed straight away, which is why it got no views, because it kills the algorithm. Because obviously, YouTube doesn't earn any money on it when it's claimed, or they earn less or whatever. It's like they don't want to run all ads on a claimed video that's copyright. So they don't push the video as much. It's part of the algorithm. So it hurts in every way. Even if even a video gets claimed, you might think, oh well, you know what, it got claimed, but it was good, so most people are going to see it anyway, and I was proud that I made it. But nope, people ain't going to watch it because it doesn't.
I just did what you said, and it's easy to see which one.
Yeah,
exactly. That's such a good point that you brought up that I actually forgot. It's like even all of that, I'll take it in the chin. But it's like the fact that I spent hundreds of hours to make this video and now it's claimed and its discoverability has been absolutely smashed into the pavement. That's the part that hurts the most.
Yeah, like because I'm less bothered when a video like that's been out for a year gets claimed, and I'm like, well, like it's already got its views, everyone's already saw it. Yeah. So whatever, like at that point. But when you upload a video and it's good for like half a day, so you're like, okay, good, we're good. I uploaded it didn't get claimed. So we're golden, you put it live, and then like it starts to pick up loads of views and then gets claimed, and you're like, cool, thanks for that. And then you get no views on it after that. Shit. Yeah, so that was actually like, if you remember, one of my, because I made so many freaking graphical overhauls, but one of the graphical overhauls got claimed by a certain company of songs of which I had a license for, that was from Envato. However, it was literally claimed on upload. Right, and so I had a license, but sometimes these companies take a little bit to review.
I guess review and then approve your dispute, or I guess remove the claim. And so this company took exactly 3 days to remove it. And also keep in mind that you're at the mercy of their own time. So sometimes they can just say, oh, I'm just going to do it.
They're probably not going to do it until Monday.
I'm too lazy. Yeah, exactly. So that video was absolute disaster on release, I remember. And it was specifically because it was claimed. I genuinely have, what was that called? Like that line of in analytics that you can see. Yeah. The moment the claim got removed, the line just went from this to like this.
Yeah.
Like you can clearly see it that as soon as the claim got removed, its discoverability
4K.
And it's I guess the amount you got suggested on YouTube was like quadrupled or something. So yeah, that's also another thing. And last point that I wanted to make that before we end this discussion is I think what me and Burnsy are doing is transformative content, because we use somebody's track that is essentially protected, sure, we agree, but we add commentary on top of it, we add gameplay on top of it, and the music is in the background. So it's one of those shady gray areas where some people would say it's fair use, other people would say it's not, but the bottom line is people will not care about that, they will claim it. So do yourself a favor if you're a rising YouTuber, get some sort of a third-party website where you have a license so you can spare yourself the headache.
Yeah, and even if you sit on the side of, well, you use their music so they can claim it, well then, what about the 90% of the video where I didn't use the music? You know, like, they get everything from that one video, even if you used it for 10 seconds, right? So
there isn't a system where it's like, oh, just this part of the video will get claimed,
like
therefore...
this percent of the ad rev goes to them or something. Well, there is that Easter egg where like 50-50, but it's not like based on the amount of music you used. It's just like...
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing. YouTube is a weird system. We're happy it exists. It's blessed our lives in many ways, but it's a heck of frustrating sometimes. We'll put it lightly. Anyway, off the topic of YouTubers complaining how privileged they are, what have we got next on the agenda?
I'm low-key
as in our personal channels?
You know what? Let's talk about Syn, your magic overhaul.
Come on, already... Can we talk about Gim's video?
Gim's just gonna say it's almost finished, and then it's never gonna come out.
Boys, I was trying to say that we need a pee break, right?
Oh, we do.
Quick.
No, I don't. But you do. You.
I mean, we are a minute and 1 hour and 20, so we're gonna go for another 10 to 15 minutes. Can you maybe hold it in?
Okay, I'm holding it in.
And we're keeping that bit in so everyone can see Syn giving this stern word.
You did this in the episode 2, now you did episode, so everybody see you have a tiny damn ass bladder, dude.
I drink a lot.
You didn't drink anything during this.
What do you mean? I've drank a whole cup of tea.
Oh, sorry, I was engaged with speaking, like me and Syn, doing that thing in the podcast that people do while you just sit and drink the entire time.
Fuck you.
I like to say I'm joking after saying something really mean just to get the heat off me, but I'm not joking. I'm joking.
I'll tell you about the magic overhaul, but provided that I'll be very brief. Provided that Gim actually goes and explains to us a little bit about his stealth stuff. So the magic overhaul was supposed to be released today, but the tracks that I use in that video that I spent 2.5 weeks working on, is from an artist which I used in the past that also claimed
right. I didn't even know this. Yeah.
Yes.
This is news to me.
So originally the idea was I'm going to make this sponsor free because I'm really passionate about this video. It's one of my better creations. I really like magic and I've done some really cool things as far as I'm concerned, and I want to make sure that people don't get bothered with the because I understand that they're inconvenient for some. But then this came 2 days ago. My video started getting claimed. And now, obviously, I cannot walk back and re-edit the whole video because I'm basically done with the video. There's only I need to record my voice and just sorry, I need to write the script and record my voice, and that's it. I'm putting it out. It's going to be either Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see. Potentially Friday because I think it's better to release it just before the weekend. But it was supposed to be ad-free or sponsor-free. However, because I realized that it's probably going to get claimed.
Destined, like you're being held ransom now. You're like, you've done the video. You're like, I can upload it now, but it's literally almost guaranteed to get claimed. So you're just uploading it to die. Essentially, you're throwing it into the graveyard.
That's how I felt those other times, but I just threw myself into the graveyard because I couldn't be asked.
Yeah, well, essentially, what I'm doing, I will be throwing myself in the graveyard, but at the same time, I just decided to include a sponsor, and that just requires additional day because they have to give me a QR code or stuff like that, which is, I guess, between me and them. But it's just being delayed for additional day because I know it's going to be maybe I'm wrong because it's like tracks that are not from the same album. So maybe I'll get lucky, but that's something that I cannot hope for. So I'm basically not counting on any ad revenue from that video. Therefore, I decided to take my slice of the cake through the sponsor.
And it's such a shame just to the algorithm part that we mentioned earlier, because you're saying now it's like you're the most proud of this video. Yes. You really love magic, and it's... This is how we're going to test it, okay? This podcast will be up a long time after this video goes up because episode 2 isn't even up by the time we're recording this for reasons. So by the time you've seen this, the video's up for a week or so.
Yeah.
We'll check back once that video's up in the next podcast and see what the views are like on that. Hopefully, I mean, we don't want it to do bad, trust me. Hopefully, it does great. But if it's claimed that straight away, especially, there's a good chance it, Right, we will have an example. So if it gets claimed, then we will have an example whether whether the algorithm gets kind of like completely demolished with the claim. But if it doesn't get claimed, it would also be a good showcase whether that video will do well. You know what I mean? Like, depending on what happens. Claimed a lot of videos or claimed not a lot of videos. And then not claimed whether a lot of views or not a lot of views. So we will report back in the next podcast.
Yeah. Was it fully claimed or just like a
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet because it's not. It's just the same artist.
Okay,
it's a different album.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if a halfway claim like ruins the algorithm as much as a full claim does, because they're still making a lot of money off the video when you do it that way. So in that way, it would make sense to still promote the video through the algorithm.
Oh, the ones we've got from this thing though, have all been full claim. Yeah,
all full
it's most likely going to be the same thing. I wouldn't imagine it to be shared.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have a case study next time, and maybe we'll be proven wrong. We'll see. But I'm pretty confident if it gets claimed, it's dead.
Yeah, it's not something that we came up with ourselves. Every YouTuber talks about this all the time. Like every YouTuber publicly states on their Twitter or social media that they have noticed that their video is absolutely demolished as soon as they get claimed. So it's not new to us. Gim, stealth video. Tell us about it.
There's nothing to tell you, buddy. It's 50% done. What do you want to know?
Tell us how excited you are. Big yourself up. This is your chance to advertise, Gim, okay? You don't upload very often. Pitch us the video. Tell everyone how epic it's going to be, okay?
I don't really... I mean, I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Daniel Hodge is in it. Come on. Excitement.
No, he's not. Oh. It's not that. It's not this one. Look, now you just spilled out some random spoiler that for another project that I...
Never mind. This video's going to be shit. Wait till the next one.
No. But I'm happy.
Knowing Gim is not going to be shit.
It's a simple, funny video with some clever edits, and I really like it. It sets a nice tone. It builds upon the previous Tree video one. It's a lighthearted one, but...
That's something I always say about your videos, though, is no matter what video you make, I always have a really fun time watching it.
Yeah, that's why I hated the magic video, because I didn't feel like, if I'm not having fun
Because it was 600 decibel music.
Oh, shut up. So when I'm just remembering, there's like one scene when I'm talking and the camera pans around the college and the music's like, dude. Just keep on rethinking. You know, I still get comments to this day, like every day I'm just clicking quickly on this, like, bro, the music is way too loud. I'm like,
yeah, you know why? Because like that video reached wider audience like hell, right? Because it went to like 200k something, right?
And randomly got like a random boost.
I think it's the most viewed video on your channel, right?
Yeah, most viewed video on your channel, right? Like it's bigger than.
No, I have a one that's.
Let me fact check.
My first
There's
ever
no way
3-part way Skyrim mods thumbnail, I think, has more. The one that's.
Let's see.
Your internet's probably faster than mine. I'm struggling at the moment.
I'm on my channel now.
Yeah.
Oh no, it is. It actually went past.
Yeah, it's the most viewed. Yeah.
That didn't get claimed, did it?
Which one? The magic one?
243. Your second one is it doesn't get more
claimed.
immersive than
it's
this.
claimed.
It is claimed.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Which one is claimed?
The magic one.
It's
really?
It's what I talked about. It's halfway claimed.
Oh, that's the half one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have
so the half
claim.
one might not potentially ruin the algorithm and the discoverability.
Was that for the Harry Potter music?
I don't remember.
Because this would make sort of sense why it's halfway, because EA might be like, well, you use the music from our game, so we'll take half.
It wasn't EA, it was this was the Brazilian one.
Yeah, but on behalf of like the EA music.
I don't know, maybe.
Because they're third parties, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like EA, it's not going to say EA themselves claimed it, is it? Like it's not going to like Bethesda claimed your thing for using this Dragonborn theme.
Maybe.
Anyway, we interrupted you, Gim. You had a point, and I interrupted you.
I didn't have a point.
You
guys were forcing me to tell you about my video, and I'm just like, yeah, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a good one. And it's.
So you said you're 50%. What are your estimates? It's released about a week too.
Is there any point of him making estimates anymore?
I have a schedule of like things.
Oh, you have a schedule, nice.
Oh, using Asana now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
see, I've been project management a bit, and now it's spreading. So I'm glad.
By this Saturday, I should be like 70% through, because I have like it's different segments that I have.
Did you find some cool mods, or just some stuff that is popular?
No, so the whole reason I'm making a self video is that I've probably told you guys the last time. I just wanted to do a small little cool Skyrim playthrough, because I saw Raid Weathers, and that just led me down an alleyway into modding. I was like, oh, what cool mods can I put together for a stealth overhaul? And then it's actually really good. I feel like all the mods complement each other perfectly. I use like a cool ass combo when it comes to. I'm not gonna.
Don't go into that. Yeah.
But it's I'm really happy with the way it's turning out. And
Okay, cool.
And stealth in general, right? You can like make some fun edits out of it. Here's some cool.
That's
music.
like the funnest part of mod. Yeah.
Yeah, I always think as well, like
magic.
videos that have like a theme to them are really fun to make, because you can play around with that a lot. Like one of the videos I'm most looking forward to making is like the Thieves Guild overhaul. Because after doing the DLCs, Dragonborn, Dawnguard, Hearthfire, I was like, well, what's my next big video project? So I'll do the guilds, I'll do the main quest lines, right? So like Mages Guild, Companions, all that type of stuff. The Thieves Guild. But the Thieves Guild video, I'm just really excited to make, because it seems like I would have fun. Like there's a lot of fun scenarios you can make video-wise that are kind of like funny or like interesting, and you can play around with a lot of different music during the stealth and like that type of thing. So I always really like doing these theme videos. One of those as well is the video I just uploaded, the Skyros update, which is really fun because like you get to play around with the themes of like things that you like. Like I say what you want about the ending or whatever, but I loved Game of Thrones. So getting to like play in that world and use like music that is like themed around it that the Skyros team made, and show things that are like I find really interesting is always really fun to make during the process, rather than like a video that you kind of like have one thing that you find fun and then the rest you're like, okay, this is like really difficult to find a way to do this, or like I just know I need to do it, but it's really hard work or long.
Right.
That's why my magic video music is so loud, because it's Harry Potter music, and I love Harry Potter.
There you go. Yeah.
So
I mean, that was the problem I had in the Skyros one as well. Like, there's some parts where the music is like really nice and it's like Game of Thronesy, and then I'm like, well, add the narration in, and then as we've discussed in previous podcasts, you then just murder your own video by talking over it. Also, I find it really funny. I feel like this isn't just me with this video, but I had a voice actor do a segment in that video, the writing segment, and he was narrating that part, and as soon as he finished the writing segment and I started talking again, it sounds so stupid.
Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you that. There's such a big difference. Yeah.
Because, like, he sounded all professional and nice, and then it's just, like, my stupid-ass voice coming in, like, landscape in Westeros is made apart, and I'm like, oh, God, I should have just got him to do the entire thing. But, like, if you hear me for a while, you get used to it, but when you hear me in direct comparison to someone that's actually good, you can tell really sharply the lack of quality.
It was noticeable, but I don't think it was like that bad. I think it's just one of those things where you just don't like your own voice, and then you kind of see it more, hear it more than other people.
When you compare it to someone else that you actually find good. Yeah,
that's what I'm dealing with the video that you kind of spoiled.
Sorry.
Because I'm also.
Well, this video might be out by the time this podcast comes out. You never know. You'd be your next project.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, because I mean, if I
wait, what video was spoiled?
No,
when Daniel Hodge one.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Damn.
Just to spoil it again. Rip. Just to hammer home about this one point. Hey, I'm doing your advertising for you, Gim. Now people are excited. They're like, oh, what is this video? What is this? Got Daniel Hodge in it? Why? Where? How?
It's a sick video. It's my most ambitious, probably. Yeah, most ambitious in terms of like, it's a video style that I explained to you guys a long time ago that I've wanted to implement for time, and it's gonna start with that one.
With some notably questionable jokes in there.
I mean, I've always had notably questionable jokes.
Especially notably questionable that we'll see when it comes out.
Not really, just you guys, you're just a bitch, bro. You.
Okay, well, when that video's out, we'll discuss it and we'll see when we can actually talk about it. Well, you haven't even got me to do the bit that you want yet, so we'll see if that even ends up being part of it. But yeah, we won't talk too much about that until you've got this one out of the way, though, because this one's the more important one at the moment.
Yeah,
anyway,
I didn't even know about that one, to be honest with you.
I think you did. You just don't listen to us.
Yeah, I told you.
That's probable.
You guys always, like, you've heard about my videos like 7 months before they come out.
Yeah, because it takes 7 months to come out.
Yeah, exactly. We're also in calls.
We get like alpha fucking access to them. Damn. God bless.
Anyways, yeah. Since we're nearing the end, are we nearing the end?
Yeah, we're nearing the end. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess you can talk about Gim that we have actual plans for segments, because we know that we asked comments for this, but we also decided to actually come up with a few of our own, so you can talk about that.
So there's a lot more in general, like we want a structure in place, right? We want these episodes to be weekly no matter what. We want to get that on the way, and with that we can start adding more stuff to the podcast, like the segments that will come 100%, and they will be really, really good. We just need to perfect. We just need to start off by perfecting running a weekly podcast first.
Yeah, like the systems of like when we record, where does that go? Like how long does it actually take to edit it? Who edits what? Like that, those type of things in the background that everyone watching is not going to find interesting, but is an integral part of like making this happen, essentially.
And also, you can now also listen to Trihards on multiple platforms.
Yes! Woo!
Yeah,
multi-platform.
We're going multi-platform, we are. But yeah, there are people in the comment section, or one dude who asked if there would be an audio version. There is. If you go down below in the description, there is a link to Anchor. You can either listen to it there, or it also like further. There's other links there to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If anyone needs something else, I don't know what other people use. I looked it up online. It's like 48% of audio people use Apple Podcasts, but that's mainly in the US, and the rest of the world make up the rest 52%, and that's Spotify. So I think we're covered on all those bases. But I mean, unless someone uses what's it called, like Amazon Podcast,
Amazon or Google, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Google Podcast.
I assume like our individual channels audience is mostly US anyway, so
all of our audiences are like 40 to 50% US, I would imagine.
Well, for you guys, you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts now. So
You might be listening to it on Apple Podcasts, so
You might be,
hello
yeah.
to the 2 viewers over there. Or
and
listeners,
it's surprisingly
sorry.
quite good. Like, I checked it out, and because at first I was skeptical. I was like, no faces, only voices. Is it gonna be good? And I listened to it, and I was like, damn, this is actually kind of nice. It sounds more high quality and podcasty for some reason.
Maybe because seeing our voices actually makes it worse. Seeing our faces actually makes it worse. It loses quality when they see us talking.
It's also just
we diminished
Yeah.
it's also
diminished
like
the quality
a
of our
typical-
voices.
I mean, I think it's just that because I normally use Apple Podcasts, or I don't really listen to podcasts that much anymore, but when I used to, I was using Apple Podcasts. So just seeing our podcast on there, clicking on it, and having like the typical music come in, and the dude saying Trihards, and then, I don't know, it just seemed really professional, which I'm really happy
We are
about.
professional, Gim. This
Yeah,
is
we are.
real now, okay? We're in the end game now. We can't stop. Apart from
Yeah.
when we accidentally miss a week on uploads. Because,
I'm not gonna lie, and I'm completely fine with audience hearing this. Like I've been enjoying this a lot. Like the feedback was obviously a lot more positive than not necessarily that I did expect that it's not gonna be positive. It's just that I thought that not a lot of people are gonna watch it, but that turned out to be completely opposite. So that was really fun, and also just having to like sit down with you guys and like chat about random things, and also have that available to people has been a fun experience for me. So I've been enjoying it a lot. I
And
have
it's
to say
nice having a form of content that is a very easy to record.
Yeah.
That's also another
Yeah.
part. Yep.
It doesn't take a month of in and out of games, like setting up scenes and all this type of stuff. We just go
Yes.
camera, chat a little bit before, and then go, okay, we're recording, go.
And it's also something that, I mean, we've always kind of been a team before this, right? We give each other advice, and
I mean, Trihards was a thing like a year and a half before we even started this. We have
Yeah.
our own like
Yeah.
private Discord that we talk in all the time and all these things.
yeah, so to make it official and have a channel that we control together that we can see improve, it's just a cool, exciting new thing,
It's
right?
a cool experience,
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, it was inevitable it was going to happen eventually. I mean, we literally speak and work as if we're a team. As if we're basically a team running 3 channels together at this point. Like,
Yeah,
We know
yeah,
of each
pretty
other
much.
videos, like in behind the scenes.
Yep.
And, yeah.
so that's
much.
probably going to do it for this podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you to everybody for watching. We don't know when this one will come out, but Syn's magic video will be out by then. There might be another video by me. Gim's video might be out. If they are, check them out. They'll probably be linked in the description if we spoke about them in this podcast, which we did. And yeah, that's all from us. Thank you for tuning
See
in
you
once
guys.
again, and see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye 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 bye.